If you've ever been dismissed by the very people who were supposed to love and protect you, then you understand what it feels like to stand alone while everyone else decides your truth for you. My name is Maya Chen. And for 3 years, my own family told the world that I was lying about my chronic pain. They said I wanted attention. They said I was lazy. They said I had created an illness because I couldn't handle real life. What they didn't know was that while they were laughing at my suffering, I was secretly building a medical technology company that would eventually be worth $73 million, and the doctor who had spent years treating me, the only person who never doubted my pain, was sitting behind them at our family reunion, listening to every cruel word they said. But that moment wasn't where my story began. Growing up, I was always considered the smart one in the family. I earned perfect grades, won scholarships, and eventually graduated from MIT at the top of my engineering program. But intelligence didn't make me the favorite child. That title belonged to my older brother, Justin. Justin had a natural charm that made everyone love him. He could walk into a room and immediately become the center of attention. He was irresponsible with money, constantly jumping from one idea to another. But my parents always believed he was destined for greatness. My younger sister Melissa followed his example. She saw Justin as someone who could do no wrong, and she learned quickly that mocking me was the easiest way to earn approval from our parents. Everything changed when I was 28 years old. At that time, I was working as a senior engineer for a medical device company in Boston. I loved my career. I worked long hours, chased impossible deadlines, and believed my future was limitless. Then my body started betraying me. At first, it was simple exhaustion. My muscles constantly ached, and I assumed I was overworked. Then the pain became impossible to ignore. Sharp burning sensations moved through my joints. Migraines became so severe that I would lock myself in the office bathroom and throw up from the pain. The worst part was the brain fog. I would start conversations and forget what I was saying halfway through. I would enter meetings unable to remember information I had studied for years. I visited doctor after doctor, 6 months of tests, endless blood work, scans, specialists. Finally, I received an answer: fibromyalgia, early degenerative disc disease, a rare autoimmune disorder. 3 diagnoses that changed everything. They were chronic conditions. There was no simple cure. My life would never be the same. Sitting inside my neurologist's office, I called my parents while crying. I expected comfort. I expected my mother to tell me she loved me. Instead, she asked, "Are you sure this isn't just stress?" "You've always had a habit of exaggerating small problems." Before I could answer, my father added, "Your brother works 80 hours every week and he doesn't complain. Maybe you just need to exercise and stop focusing on every little ache." That was the first moment I should have realized that my family would never become the support system I needed. Still, I wanted to believe they would eventually understand. So I moved back to Chicago to be closer to them while learning how to live with my conditions. It was the biggest mistake of my life. Within 2 months, the story they told everyone. CAJNGED, I was no longer their daughter who was struggling. I became the daughter who was pretending. Their evidence was ridiculous. Some days I could walk without my cane. Some days I smiled in pictures. Some days I had enough energy to sit in a coffee shop for an hour. To them, those moments meant I must have been lying. They ignored the nights I spent unable to sleep because my body felt like it was on fire. They ignored the mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. They ignored every medical report that proved my illness was real. Justin became my loudest critic. Every Sunday dinner, he would fake a dramatic limp and say, "Sorry everyone, I can't help clean up tonight. My fibromyalgia is acting up." The entire table laughed, even my parents. Every laugh felt like another piece of my heart breaking. Melissa took it even further. She started posting online about a family member who claimed to be disabled but somehow still found the energy to go shopping and meet friends for coffee. She never mentioned my name. She didn't have to. Everyone knew she was talking about me. The comments from relatives and strangers were brutal. They called me spoiled. They called me weak. They called me a liar. My Aunt Sarah became the worst of them all. She constantly said, "In my generation, we worked through pain." Young people today want praise just for surviving a normal day, but the cruelty didn't stop with words. Eventually, my family started interfering with my medical treatment. I was still covered under my father's insurance plan because my illness had forced me to take medical leave from my job. When a specialist approved me for a pain management clinic, the insurance claims suddenly disappeared. When I confronted my father, he looked me directly in the eyes and said, "I'm not spending money supporting your delusions." My mother secretly entered my apartment while I was at a doctor's appointment. When I came home, several of my prescribed medications were gone. She admitted she threw them away. "You don't need pills," she said. "You need therapy and a job." That was the day something inside me changed. I finally understood the truth. My family was not trying to help me. They were trying to erase the reality of my suffering. And from that moment forward, I stopped telling them anything important about my life.